Happy Tuesday, family. Welcome to another beautiful morning on Ways Breakfast. Hashtag what are you saying? The platform for the youth, the pulse of present conversations, and the home of real, refreshing dialogue. Here, we don't just skim the surface, we go deep. We ask questions that matter. We spotlight voices that inspire and challenges ideas that needs rethinking. And as we kick off today's show, let's hold on to this quote by Maya Angelou, which says, "Nothing will work unless you do." So whatever dreams you're nurturing, whatever impact you're trying to make, show up, speak up, and don't stop doing the work. We've got an exciting and history-rich conversation lined up today. So sit tight, sip your tea, and let's make this Tuesday worth every minute. My name is Oluchi Precious Omink, and as always, I'm excited to share the table with none other than God's beauty herself. Let's dive in. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well.
See how beautiful you're looking.
Thank you so much. I think it's my birth month, so I'm already
It's
planning.
our birth month. Hello.
I think July people are extra.
We have to be.
I haven't seen a July bond that isn't extra. I mean, it came with the extra. That's why the words for the month is not so long. Juny, because there's extra behind it.
Do you understand?
Do you understand?
So poor.
But I
Not
feel
too much
really
talk.
amazing today. And I think this quote is something I've been resonating with a lot. Nothing will work unless you do. So I've been in this phase of my life. I'm back with motivation, where I have to just think about starting many things, firstly, and then figuring it out as it goes. So there's this loophole of, no, it has to look very perfect before I start. But recently, I've just looked at it that sometimes the perfection comes by just even being in that circle.
Yeah.
Some inspiration that you're looking for, some challenges that you want to break, some roadblocks that you want to conquer would not start happening to you even in that space, first of all. So there are some projects I have in mind, some things that I've really been excited about. But the reason why I've not even launched them before now, not now again, is because I was like, oh, I'm not yet ready for it. I'm not ripe for it. There's the part of patience, there's a part of planning properly, but there's also the exaggeration of that, where you feel like, there's one over planning needed. So I'm in that point where if there's a great idea that I have, right, with the resources I have available, I start. And again, I think I want to really live beyond this whole idea of mistakes. There's this, how I put it, glorification we give mistakes sometimes. Mistakes is part of humanity. A human is a human because he fails sometimes.
Yes.
And it's just beautiful at the end of the day. The story makes more sense when you're able to learn from the mistakes. But if you want to be all Miss Goody Two Shoes, what they call that now. You're always so scared of mistakes. You can never make progress in life. But let's be honest, mistakes are not usually something that we want to identify ourselves with. But gradually, as we begin to internalize some of this thought that we think about, some of these things we hear, it becomes real to us. So recently, that's been my whole thought. And the fact that it's July, So God's beauty, what have you been up to?
Nothing really, nothing serious. I mean, yesterday I was saying to, our audience yesterday that I literally just climbed, do I call it the milestone now? Because it's the first step, right? I've been writing, like I said before, I've been writing no more movies, 1 hour, 2 hours. I mean, having to now go into doing series or writing series is a lot,
it's
right?
So much growth.
Yeah, honestly speaking, looking at the short time at which I even, know this person. This person, I've not really done so much work for this person. I think the least I've done is literally just short films, right? But then you look at my work and say, Gospel, I know for sure like you like chaos and conflict. Give us a series. Because that's literally what series is about, For every time you're thinking of a story, you have to always look for, conflict. You have to look for, apart from, having to get some ending, that's resolution. Okay. Let me not give too much grammar.
Because I'm wondering where we're going to with this. But
let me not give too much grammar. But honestly speaking, I am just excited. I mean, I can't actually wait to see what the future looks like regarding having to, write for people.
One thing I'll take from you is your passion and enthusiasm with whatever you like. And that is really commendable. So kudos to you.
Thanks.
And let's go make the millions of dollars, right?
Yeah, so billions of dollars.
Okay. Well, today, 8th of July, is the birthday of a very special person. I told you July people are extra. It's just that this particular July born, I think he didn't enter the extra for our bracket.
No, he didn't.
Peter has to be the most shyest human being I've ever seen. He can't be extra. Peter is just simple and let us just have it day by day. But this is a very special, warm shout out to Peter Uwade, our technical director here at Upgrade TV. You are an amazing person. There's a lot of applause behind the scene, and that's because Peter is really amazing. And I'm saying happy birthday to you. Welcome to your best year yet, and keep shining like the star that you are. God's Beauty has a poem for Peter. Please, let's have it.
No, I don't understand.
Don't come and form here.
Oh, wow.
Don't form here. Let us have the poem.
I don't think I have one written down. I don't understand what Lichi is saying, but let me see if I can read out something, right?
Okay.
Okay, so we have here, today's the calendar, today the calendar paused and said Peter's Day, not just another page flip, right? The clock ticked in applause, finally someone worth counting hours for. Now, Peter, you are the syllabus life tries to fail, to summarize, a masterclass in wisdom wrapped in a pun and tied with a purpose. Now, you crack jokes like codes, drop lessons like Wi-Fi signals, everywhere at all, at once. Now, if life gave grades for impact, you did be constant A+.
Hey.
Not because you tried to impress, but because you showed up, fully present. Now, so today, right, leaves the spreadsheet closed. Let joy, be your to-do list. Now, may your laughter crash your system without needing an IT ticket.
Hey.
Peter the Rock, steady but somehow still rolling with humor. Now, you walk into rooms like a well-timed punchline, balancing deadlines and dreams like twin brothers on your shoulders. May this year be a power bank of your joy, a playlist where peace is always on repeat and grace doesn't skip.
Amen.
May opportunities
Amen.
queue for your yes and troubles miss the opportunity or the appointment. Happy birthday, star, my mentor, my friend, my rhythm in our routine. Today's lesson: celebrate loud, love harder, and live like your joy is non-refundable, because your joy is non-refundable, actually. Now, class adjourned, pizza served, history be made. Happy birthday again, Peter. Happy birthday. I mean, there are a lot of things that I would love
God's
to say.
Beauty, thank you so much. behind the scene, we'll talk. Peter, you're so loved.
Yes, you are. You are.
Heart of
Happy
gold
birthday.
you are indeed, but happy birthday to you. And of course, our viewers, please send Peter good wishes on our YouTube channel. We'll take a short break right now, and when we return, we're heading straight to the headlines for today, and of course, the hot topic for today. So please stay with us. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back, people. So today's show is going to take a different routine than we usually have. We're not going to take our headlines now. We'll take it after the hot topic for today. Today's topic is we're spotlighting O. Daniels because he has achieved an unprecedented feat with 130 hours talk show. Now, you know that there are some conversations that leave a mark, but not just because of the guests, but because of what they represent. And today is one of them. A few weeks ago, we had a bold, determined radio host in this very seat, O. Daniels, sharing with us what seemed like an ambitious dream to host the longest talk show ever recorded. Fast forward to now, that dream isn't just real. It's in the record books. 130 hours, non-stop, unmatched, unprecedented. A feat not just of endurance, but of focus, passion, and storytelling at its peak. But what happens after the record? What left when the lights dim, the mic is turned off, and the world moves on? Today, we go beyond the numbers and spotlight. We unpack what this moment really meant for him, for the media industry, and for anyone who has ever dared to do something different. So let's welcome back a history maker, and not just a talker, but a trailblazer, O. Daniels. Welcome once again. Good morning, O. Daniels.
Good morning, nobody else.
You can hear me.
I can hear
Yes, we
you loud
can.
and clear.
Oh, okay, okay.
Good
Thank you.
morning. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm doing
It's
good.
it's amazing to have you join us again. And I was just even telling my producer that aren't we stressing you? You just spoke for 130 hours. And I think you should have like the longest break ever. But I mean, the passion is still there. And thank you for gracing our show this morning. And let's even start the conversation. 130 hours is a long time to speak. You know, when you came here before and you told us of this intention, let's be honest, I had my doubts because I was imagining how stressful it's going to be. But I mean, it's amazing that you really did break the record. So what surprising truths did you learn? And I'm not talking about the mic now, but about the people and their need to be heard during your experience.
Okay. First off, thank you so much for having me on the show again. I mean, I remember I was here the last time, and then I told you I was gonna do it. A lot of people were in doubt. They didn't know that it was gonna happen, but hey, it happened. I didn't just do 120. I did 130. But
Right.
thank God for the kind of people that surrounded me before I did it. Because if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't go that length. But then again, I need to let you know that I'm no superhuman, right?
Right.
Look, I had so many challenges while I was on the shows. In fact, at some point, I felt like giving up, but we had to keep going because I mean we said we wanted to do it and then we needed to do it regardless. So yeah, yeah. That's it. People need to know that there's no superhuman anywhere. It's just all about deciding you want to do something and then you do it.
I
Amazing.
love it. Well done, oh Daniels. I mean, honestly
Yeah.
speaking, this is beautiful, right? And just like you said, I mean, you wanted to do 120 and you ended up doing 130. Put me on what the
Yeah.
challenges were and how were you able to overcome them? Because just like, you made the statement of there's a time where you wanted to just say, okay, you know what, so let's say we'll go rest this thing. But then there was something that keeps saying, okay, you know what, let's do this, let's do this. And you did 130 hours. It's a lot, really. Just put us on it for young people watching us or people that want to try this as well. What are those few challenges that you think they would face? So when they are doing theirs, they'll be able to, overcome or, work on it.
Mhm. All right. Thank you. You see, so I was given 5 minutes break for every hour. And 5 minute break means that I can sleep, I can brush my teeth, I can, have a bath and all of that in 5 minutes. But now what they said is I could accumulate the hours and then get an output number of minutes. But you see, it never worked out.
Wow.
I have never, I've never been so sleeping is you can't cheat nature pretty much. Pretty much, you cannot cheat nature. So
Right.
when I started, I was trying to do 6 hours. Maybe I could get 30 minutes to have some nap and all of that. It's something they call power nap, right? But it didn't work out. So I did 6 hours, like first 12 hours. I did 6 hours, then I got 30 minutes. And so when I did the first 6 hours, and then I wanted to get some rest, 30 minutes. Um, the timekeepers they were on my neck. Once I was resting for a bit, and 20 minutes they had to wake me up and just to get me settled again for the next 6 hours and all of that. And I did that for the first 12 hours. It didn't work out because what kind of sleep do you sleep in 30 minutes? And it was never enough. They would wake me up in 20 minutes and then get me down, get me back on the seats, and get me prepared because we needed to adhere to the guidelines. So if I say I'm going to break at one every time, and I do that, by the time I'm coming back, it has to. the camera is picking the clock, the timer. So everything has to be in place. So I have to be on the seat by the time I say, I want to start. I want to open the mic again and all of that. So you see, the major challenge I had during the shows was sleeping. Sleeping was everything. So I did the 6 hours, it wasn't working. And then at some point, I had to decide that, look, at this point, let me just do 3 hours and get 15 minutes break. And now, imagine it, how much sleep can you get in 15 minutes? It was not easy at all. At all. The only challenge I had, I had enough strength. People kept asking if I was good, if I was okay. And I mean, yeah, shout out to the medical team. They were around, always checking my pulse, my sugar level, my this and that, But I think I had enough strength. But the only problem was the fact that I wasn't sleeping enough. And of course, I couldn't get enough sleep. In fact, there was a time when they woke me up. I had done 8 hours and I thought I was gonna get 40 minutes break, so maybe that would allow me some time to actually sleep. But I slept for like 30 minutes and they woke me up. Honestly speaking, I was delusional. I literally was begging them to give me 20 minutes more because I didn't even know that I had slept the 30 minutes they wanted me to sleep.
Wow.
So I was literally begging because it was like, come on, I'm not even slept at all. Allow me to sleep. I was literally my eyes still wanted so much sleep, but I couldn't get it because of the guidelines. I couldn't. I just needed to open the mic when I was done with the break. So majorly that was the issue, the challenge I had. So if anybody wants to actually go into marathon, what you need to do is to maybe train yourself about not sleeping. I don't know how you do that, but it is what it is.
I just said Omo now as a proper Nigerian that I am because I think it deserves that verbiage because I'm really thinking of a lot of things that you have mentioned because I know there's this research that says that, for a power nap to do what it ought to do, it needs to be at least 20 to 30 minutes. And it's not like a recurrent thing. You had to take a lot of power naps, which didn't give you the power that you needed. So I'm sure it must have been a very terrible stress on you. But I want to also ask, what version of yourself did you discover during this particular process? Because in the radio marathon that you just engaged in, you were involved in interviews and conversation. So that means your interviewing skill was tested, your conversational skill was tested, your listening skill was tested. So what new version of yourself did you discover during the process?
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you, I listened a lot. I had a lot of interviews on the shows, and then it made me realize that I could actually go for longer hours. Like I said earlier, the only challenge I had was the sleeping thing. But I listened a lot to people, a lot of people. In fact, there was a time I literally had like 5 interviews in 1 hour. Yeah, and it kept going like that, like that. So it just made me realize that, look, I actually can go a length. I can go a length in talking to people and all of that. So yeah, pretty much it's just discovering that I could really go at length if there was time for that, you know.
Amazing. So I wanted to ask about feedback. Of course, you heard a lot of people tell you, oh, great job, oh, Daniels, amazing fit. But I want to ask, was there any particular feedback that surprised you the most after the fit?
After the feed, no, not really. But shout out to everybody who was on the show. I mean, people kept calling and calling. I was literally surprised, man. I was surprised that we could get that number of calls. In fact, there was a certain day I wasn't the best of myself on the shows. The sleep really affected me so much that I wasn't exactly myself. On Saturday, that happened, and then when I finally got myself on the phone, on the studio phone, I literally saw 98 missed calls. on it, and that was really amazing. And then, but another thing that really got me was the fact that people were listening all over the world. I had calls from Canada, from the US, from UK, from Finland. I mean, people kept calling me from everywhere, everywhere, and I was just really really amazed by those things. But after the feeds, I don't think there's any serious feedback apart from the fact that everybody kept saying, "Man, thank you so much for giving us this, for motivating us, for inspiring us." To be very honest, that was what I was looking for, and I got that, and that is quite fulfilling for me. That everybody would say that, look, after doing this, you inspire us so much. Even while I was on the show, a lot of people came on the shows, and then they kept saying, "Man, you've just done something that a lot of people can't actually think about," and all of that. You keep inspiring us, you keep inspiring the community and everything. And then people were saying this all over the world, where I got calls from. So yeah, for me, that is really fulfilling.
I love it. So I remember, right, the time you came, that was before, the marathon whole thing. You said, I mean, I remember Oluchi asking you what's next, after the marathon, and you said you're not sure, what next, what the next, thing would be for you. But now that you've done it and you've, you've secured the bag, what's next? I mean, I'm just curious to know.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, thank you for that question. So when I came to your station the other time, I told you that the marathon actually has a certain cause. So it's not just that I wanted to break a record. I actually wanted to reach out to people. So what's next right now is to do those things I said I wanted to do. So right now I'm working with a certain foundation. We're going to reach out to some kids. I think this Saturday we're gonna do that. We're gonna do the first. I told you that we wanted to reach out to kids and pay for tuition, pay for whatever thing, however we can help those kids. So we're starting that already. I know that we're doing media rounds this week and everything, but yeah, that's like the next thing right now. But if you're asking the question of after Guinness World Record, what else? What else do I want to do? Well, like I told you the last time, that's still in the works. There's a lot to do actually, but that's still in the works. We just want to make sure that we take one step at a time.
All right, oh Daniels, thank you so much. You have championed a cause for media practitioners, and I'd like to really find a way to identify with it as someone who is actively in the media space as well. I'm sure that this particular achievement exposed certain things about the state of the media in Nigeria. So I want you to tell us the things that you found out, the gaps, the potentials, and even the direction.
Okay, well, first off, shout out to everybody in the media who actually who supported what we did. Honestly, before the marathon, I didn't expect much, especially from the media guys. I didn't. But shout out to some people who reached out. Some people actually reached out to me, and they said, okay, you know what, I really want to be a part of it. In fact, I had a certain person who flew in from Enugu just to be a part of this.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. I know, it's amazing. She said that she wanted to. She's an OAP herself, and then she just wanted to witness this and see how it goes and everything. Some of the guys actually reached out to me, and they said they wanted to be a part of it. But point is, before I started the marathon, I wasn't expecting much from media guys because you know how our industry is. People don't exactly support people like that on the big scale, but it was shocking to me to see people who actually reached out. But the gaps that I feel and I see and I still saw during the marathon is the fact that people need to be there for one another. You need to be there. There's no point for some kind of bad energy. Um, it's not a big deal if people support people. It's not supposed to be a big deal at all, you know. But I feel that's literally the gap that I just noticed in the media space. Even though we had some media houses come around, and it was shocking. I had, I don't know if I can mention names right now, but I had people in the media space who literally came around to get interviews, you know, to try to put what I was doing on the mainstream media and all of that. I don't know if you probably would have seen some of the materials, you know, or the newspaper, the even on TV. You know, we had some major media houses come around, and that makes a lot of sense to me. But for me, I just feel like media houses probably need to do better, and media people need to do better.
Thank you very much, O Daniels. We've come to the end of this conversation with you, but I'd like to tell you this. I think you really need to take your health very seriously at this point, and I'm really hoping that you're paying attention to that. Get all the rest that you can, because we need you to bounce back up, inspiring us and showing us what's possible.
I can't oversleep, you know. That's what people kept saying. You need to get some rest. You need to. I tell you what, since the second day I was done, I was good, man. I was good.
Wow. I could never be you. But thank you very much for reminding us that even in a world of fleeting attention, consistency still speaks loudest. And as we close, may this serve as a reminder that greatness is not always about being heard first, but being heard long enough to make it count. Thank you very much for staying with us, O Daniels. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we're heading to the news headlines for today, so we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
I describe myself as a polyhumanitarian, someone who believes politics should be rooted in love for country and empathy for its people. I'm thrilled to introduce to you Politics Uncensored, a show dedicated to tackling the political challenges that matter most to Nigerians. This is more than just a show. It's a space for honest, unfiltered conversations about the issues that shape our nation. From policy reforms to elections, leadership tussles to governance at all levels, and the overall political landscape in Nigeria. We will dive deep into how politics is impacting our everyday lives. So join me on this journey as we challenge the status quo, spark dialogue, and work together to build a brighter future for Nigeria. Let's make our voices heard and drive the change we deserve.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Welcome back, our darling viewers, to another beautiful segment that we have here for you. Earlier on today's show, we had an interview with O. Daniels, who broke an amazing record of 130 hours non-stop recording, and it was really amazing. If you missed it, of course, you can always go back to our YouTube page and catch the interview. But right now, we're going to be skimming the headlines of the Nigerian newspaper and, of course, internationally, and God's Beauty will be leading that ship.
All right, straight into the South China Morning Post. At the top left, we have long road to the top of the class. At the middle side, we have green light for temporary housing. And at the right, we have front line of economic shift. Just beneath that, we have threat of extra 10% tariff for nations aligning with BRICS. Then the main headline says, Carrier leaves HK after visit showcasing military power. Then bottom of the newspaper, which is the last headline on the newspaper, has prisons will give proof if seeking to ban specific lawyers, minister says. So the headline I'll be taking says, it's always on Trump, you guys know already. It's a threat of extra 10% tariff for nations aligning with BRICS. So let me quickly read out the details. And it says President Donald Trump has threatened additional tariffs on any country that supports the anti-American policies of the BRICS group, a political and diplomatic coordination forum consisting of 11 countries. Now, any country aligning themselves with the anti-American policy of BRICS will be charged an additional 10% tariff. There will be no exceptions to this policy, Trump said. So on this story here, just when you think that somebody has learned, they have learned their lesson, somehow it feels like Trump doesn't even understand what lessons is, and he just keeps it moving. Now, in full details, BRICS is, just like I read here, it's, a forum consisting of 11 countries. When BRICS started, it started with, I think, 5 countries, which is the Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. This country started BRICS, right? And I think over time we had the likes of Iran, Saudi Arabia, and some other countries like that, came in. Now, this forum, it was built so that they can actually help countries that are not yet developed to become developed, right? And now, if you remember, during the time we had the trade war between America and other countries, like the likes of China, and all. I mean, when we had that, trade war, China decided that they would stop using dollar, the United States dollar. Instead, they would use their own currency, right, to do whatever their transaction and all. And that's something that, of course, Trump is not happy with. So you see this anti-American policy that Trump keeps emphasizing on. It's just him stating that he doesn't want other countries. He still wants dollar to be used just as the way it is used right now, both here in Nigeria and all. He wants dollar to be used everywhere. But you see the countries in BRICS, they say no. I mean, after the trade war, that's why I'm saying that upon the lesson that you have seen, you still don't want to learn. You get it? Because now, I mean, this is not the first time they are saying that, they'll stop using dollar and start, appreciating their own currency and looking for ways to ensure that it is used globally, internationally and all. So Trump now coming out to say, I mean, instead of you looking for better ways to ensure that these people don't even do that, or probably plea, you are not saying that any country that associates with them or, aligns with their own views on certain things, you add 10% to whatever they, import or whatever transaction they have. Make it make sense to me. That is not even sounding like anything like way forward. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it. And
I don't know. I just hope that
the
he
BRICS,
learns.
the countries you mentioned
like
for the BRICS, how many countries are there?
There are 11 right now, but when they started in 2001, there were just 5. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa.
That's amazing. But I think at this point, the United States shouldn't cause any more, how would I call it, friction between other countries and itself or herself, as they always used to describe a country, because you can't really fight everybody.
Like,
that's just what's coming to my mind.
I
You
don't
can't
know,
fight everybody, no matter the power you claim to have as, you know, the A-list country, world power country. You can't really fight everyone. At this point, a lot of compromise should happen with countries. I mean, everybody at the end of the day is looking for what benefits them the most.
Yeah.
So I think it will not benefit the United States if what you are aiming for would now cause more countries to not use the dollar. At this point, I think the dollar is one of the most widely used currency across board. And that places the United States on a very, you know, very high place. So you don't want to come down from there by causing fight with other people. Because
to be honest,
the
that's
fact
what
that, you know, I was saying
like.
how many before, you said 5, now 11. And who knows how many it could become if they keep seeing threats like this. I don't like when, you know, you respond to things with threat. If you see something that doesn't work well, your response should be with negotiations and not threats.
Not threats.
Threatening to add
any
10%
country that any country that associates with them, you add 10%
trade
to
war
their.
already messed a lot of things for us recently, and I hope that we don't see recurrent
Who are your
stuff.
special advisors? At this point, we need to ask.
You are one of them. Let me take you through the Nigerian space. It has really amazing stories as well. The Punch has a major headline reading, July flood alert. 20 states at risk despite 620 billion naira intervention. NIMET forecasts flooding in Lagos, Edo, Benue, and 17 others in July. State faces scrutiny over 620 billion naira ecological fund. Nigeria's reform push yet to reach masses, says IMF. Ladoja next in line as tributes flow for late Olu Ibadan. 2027 firestorm is APC coalition battle for northern ADC leaders. ADC curses federal government of backroom deals with northern leaders. APC fumes. Below that, we see Kenya anti-government protests leave 10 dead and dozens injured. U.S. Embassy begins screening Nigerian student and social media account. ASU branches suspend lectures over delayed June salaries. And the last story here is Senate braces for showdown as Natasha plans return today. Let me even start with this story before I talk about the flood and some details on Natasha's story. It says U.S. Embassy begins screening Nigerian student social media accounts. That's another slap on our face. I think recently I saw this particular news on social media where a particular Nigerian, I guess, was apprehended, taken to court, or arrested because he had this comment on
bad behavior. It can only be that.
How people
I'm sorry, bad behavior.
I think it was about telling someone to go to the gym.
Fat.
And I like the kind of punishment that person is about to get.
Are you being serious?
No. I tell you all this. I'll tell you this.
Lost his job and definitely couldn't come back.
That he deserves more.
Oh my God.
He deserves more because you did not just embarrass yourself. You embarrassed us as a nation there.
To be
Do you
honest.
understand?
To be honest.
It's okay if people want to relocate. It's okay if people want to stay there. But you know that you are still representing Nigeria wherever you are.
Yes.
And certain bad behaviors always have its impact on people that are coming in. We spoke about a lot of all these embassy wars and everything. And look at somebody talking about it. Was spoken. When I saw that stuff, I was like, you deserve more than that.
Oh,
they
my
should
God.
take you 15 years in jail
wow.
there before they bring you back. And I think this is it's really, you really deserve that, because normally, why should you comment on someone's weight? You now went to a country that...
Do you understand?
You think it's Nigeria.
You know, the person that got me was where they said she's traumatized. I'm like, wow. Imagine all the things that...
You could have gone... And I think this is a lesson for us, that it's not everything that should just be going down the drain.
Do you understand?
Certain people should be punished for certain crimes. Then we start having, the decency to act in a proper way. So I said that news because I just saw this one on the U.S. Embassy starting to screen Nigerian student social media accounts. The reason why they want to take approaches like this is because they already have this misconception. I won't say a misconception because we're giving them reasons to. They have this idea about Nigerians. So having to screen someone's social media account, it shows a lot of things. There's mistrust. There's I don't know what you're planning to do. Let's be sure that persons coming here are of good behavior. But you would not necessarily have to do that if these people have shown on what's the word now? Good behavior over time.
I agree.
We've had discussion here on tourism and tourist behavior. If you go to another man's land, behave yourself in a proper way. In fact, there's something called farming, and I think Nigerians, we can farm. Let us farm. Let's do the good farming there, and not be a bad example and then start soiling the country's name. We already have our name soiled when it comes to debt, right? And a number of things. Let's not add in interpersonal relationship, to it as well. Then let's go to the flood story. This one is one we have to talk about because it has a lot of implications. I mean, having to see that a number of funds have been allocated to solve things like this, and the forecast is showing that we should really get ready for July. I know we're saying July is with the extra, but the extra also comes with rain and flood. So let me take you through the story. Nigerian Meteorological Agency has issued a flood alert for the month of July, warning that states including Sokoto, Lagos, Edo, Benue, and 16 others are at high risk of experiencing flash flood. Now, this came as the African Environmental Health Organization, climate change adaptation researchers, and members of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, among others, lambasted state governments following the recent devastating flood that ravaged several states, calling for an intense scrutiny over the management of ecological funds allocated to these affected regions. Findings show that despite receiving over 620 billion, this is a lot of money, in ecological funds, many states seem ill-prepared to mitigate the impact of such disasters, raising questions about the effectiveness of these funds in enhancing environmental resilience and disaster preparedness. NIMET's flash flood risk alert for July 2025, released on Monday by the agency, showed the state with varying probable risk of experiencing flash flooding events due to the onset of rainfall across the country. I think, July is even the beginning of rain, honestly, because we are yet to see the impact of the rain and, of course, flood eventually. What is really painful about this news is that money has been pumped in, as expected, except if I think I want to now start asking, are people lying about this money? Is it that, I don't know, I don't want to bring some conspiracy theory here, because for every news I see on the paper about certain sectors or industry not doing what they have to do, they will always mention that certain billions, trillions, millions have been pumped into it. So I'm now asking, is this audio money? Is it like, is the money that they wrote just for the papers or the story, or was it actually given? I think that's one, because I always used to look at it that, how can they give a lot of this money and nothing is being done? But if we see it recurring a number of times, what if no money was actually given? That's God, we to stop laughing. This is actually a very serious. I know. It's a very serious conversation.
So it is, right?
Because it doesn't make sense every time. Money. We heard that this billion has gone into this sector, health, education, and all, and it doesn't always, materialize to what we see as change. So is it that money wasn't actually pumped? What's really going on?
There's that part of it. It could be. I actually don't know why I'm laughing at this, really. But see, there's nothing that cannot happen in Nigeria. Let's start with that. There's nothing that is not possible. Do you understand? So it could be audio money. It could be that, I actually believe that that amount can actually be dispersed, right? But then the problem is, who exactly is even giving, how does the money even pass? From which person to the other? Do you understand? There's honesty, there's no transparency. I said this yesterday. It's one thing to say this amount of money or this happened. Okay, that's fine. But where is the money going to? How sure are we, Seth, that, it is actually used for the right purpose? And just like you said, we don't see the real impact. We just hear money happens or money flies from the sky. But we don't, at the end of the day, we don't see these things. And most of the time, they actually feel like it's when the matter is about to happen. That's when you now hear that so money and so money has been, brought in together. Before now, why exactly were we not planning for, this flood and all of this that we are hearing now? Did we not know that there's a rainy season coming? Make it make sense to me.
That's why money was this. When was
it done? When was the money, disbursed or whatever? When was it done? Then why has it not been worked on? Why is it till now? Why are we still hearing that, flood, whatever can happen? Make it make sense to me. I really don't want to get angry this morning, please. There's a lot of happiness in my heart, so let me just keep it at that, please.
All right.
Please.
But honestly, I think at this point we're tired of hearing stories like this. It makes us sound almost stupid when we're reading it. Like, as if fools that are reading these stories. Because it doesn't make sense anymore. It's looking like, is it fiction at this point? Things that you think somebody would just, scribble over. They should start giving Nigerians some bit of respect. Because this flooding that we're talking about takes people's lives, properties, and we're looking at 16 states at the forefront of being, destroyed in that sense. Because imagine people losing their lives and properties because of flood. We've watched videos of how certain areas would just be swept.
What state was it again? Was it Bauchi, or what state was it that had that flood thing earlier this year? Or if I'm not mistaken,
I think I don't know.
It should better not repeat itself.
Lagos is even mentioned amongst the 16
Of course it will. Now we are on the island, literally. It should better not repeat itself. People should better. I don't understand. You have a lot of money that was dispersed for this thing, and you end up not doing it, and then you now have people come and tell us that flood will happen. I'm confused. Did you even know this thing will happen before?
Honestly, we need to start according Nigerians and even people that look at this story some respect. It's really injustice to say money is being disbursed to cater for the average Nigerian, and we don't see the impact of it. It's quite sad. Let me take you through The Guardian. Hopefully God's beauty doesn't flare up again. It says fiscal inefficiencies erode Naira's prospect despite weakening dollar. Flood destroys 500 houses in Kogi community. That means the impact had already started. Keyamo inaugurates Enugu Air as Mba vows improved air travels. NDDC commits to improve mandate delivery. Opposition unity at risk as ADC leadership faces legal hurdle, collapse warning. Court jails 9 Chinese nationals over Ponzi terrorism scheme in Lagos. Palace guards injured, police vehicle vandalized as hoodlums attack Sanusi's palace. Tinubu insists fuel subsidy unsustainable, benefit only rich citizens. And the last story here reads, BRICS Plus Summit between Nigeria's interest and global South agenda. A lot of people, I watched one interview of a particular renowned journalist and, Peter Obi over the weekend. And what I saw from that interview was that I think even the people in this coalition or people that are vying for this 2027 post, I'm going to use this word very unapologetically, and I'm sorry if it comes out the wrong way, but a lot of them don't even really know what they want at this point. And desperation has, maybe because of the present economic, I don't want to say this. I don't want to say economic all the time, because you know how we always say that some of these things don't affect everyone. Do you understand? It's maybe when it comes down here that so maybe those at the highest of the highest, it doesn't really affect them. But let me even imagine that they try to empathize with the fellow Nigerians or average Nigerians, and they're like, no, this injustice is so much. You want to come back. I'm wondering if that's their intention to come back in 2027. But the way things are going, not to talk a lot about this whole coalition stuff, but it was giving me a lot of vibe, honestly. And I'm glad that some Nigerians are seeing things that don't add up here. So it's not like in 2027 somebody is bamboozling us. You know that word, bamboozle?
With big English.
A lot of things. I mean, if a house is, I know progress by trying to even look at your house firstly. I mean, these houses are very disorderly. There's no clear vision, no clear purpose, no clear leadership in that sense, because we're seeing, the northern people also clamoring for position. I mean, Peter Obi came out to say that he's not going to be running with Atiku, that he's going to be running differently for the presidential, race, and then we're hearing that the coalition. Imagine. Well, that's all we're going to take for this story. I want to get to the point where we can, stretch the story when we have better context to it. But we're wrapping up this conversation, and there was something I wanted us to discuss, and probably tomorrow we're going to open it much more.
I love it.
It's a conversation about celebrity influence on Nigerians, and on Gossip Gala, I think yesterday, you guys were able to open it up, and I think it's also a social concern that applies, to the audience of our show this morning, and I'm sure tomorrow we're going to open it more. But firstly, I want to say that Solomon Buchi's comment on that particular case, that whole Tasha case where she came out with luxurious car to show that she has arrived, was actually legit. I know he's a social commentator, and he comes out really hard at some people, and some people don't like him. I understand that, because sometimes he talks in a very rash way too. But he really did mention some things that are that should make us think. I mean, we've
Reflect.
compared ourselves with a lot of outside people. We've got about 3 cases now that has to do with interpersonal relationship with
Yes.
people outside. And I think we just have a lot to learn. That's how I'm just going
To be honest.
end the story. There's a lot we need to learn. We need to learn what we appreciate, what we talk about, what we treasure. I'm not trying to say that these people that are foreigners have gotten it better or like they're the best at communicating or having the right kind of what's it called, perception to things. I'm not saying they're the best, because sometimes they have this extreme wokeism,
Yeah.
that they glorify. But even as Nigerians, I know that they are developed. There's some things to learn. I mean, look at this whole story. I don't want to talk a lot about it, so let's hear what God's Richie has to say before we wrap up.
I just feel like there's a lot to learn, just like you said.
Yeah.
There's really a lot to learn. We have bad character in this country. Let's be for real.
Very collective.
Maybe.
Some
of
people,
us.
please,
Yes.
because I was trained properly.
I mean, I feel like that's literally what everybody will say, including the man that went, outside the country and think it's okay to ask, 2 partners that are females, they're doing their thing and asking them how they got their daughter. Exactly. Because if you do it here in Nigeria now, we are going to look at you and say, okay, you're making sense. But outside the country, come on. Do you get what I'm saying? So Thatcher coming, to Nigeria, and a lot of people, went to greet her and all. I don't have an issue with that. Do you understand? We want... Exactly. I don't have an issue with that. You get me? But the point where she now felt like, what Solomon Buchi is saying doesn't make any sense. First off, Solomon did not tag you. He didn't call you. He didn't...
For you to video over your message or about your message is tagging.
It's not tagging.
Yes, it is.
I don't think so, baby.
You're referring to me. No, let's not.
I don't know.
Political
I don't.
here.
This is not political.
It's actually tagging.
I feel like if you're having a conversation about something, it's just important that you give an example. So I feel like that's where it's coming from. He wasn't even going straight to her. It's a different thing if I say, Thatcher, that thing that you did, blah, 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 blah. That would be quite different. But the part where I'm explaining something, I'm explaining a phone and I say, you see this particular phone here, does that mean I'm calling in Phoenix or something? That's it. Exactly. So he was literally stating out that it's time for us to actually wake up. It's not a bad thing to, appreciate your fan or whatever, or appreciate, who you love, your celebrity and all. But then it's important to actually note certain things. I was asking certain persons yesterday, if you have job to do, will you go and be standing in that place and say you want to welcome Auntie Tasha? They say no. So what are we talking about? And why are you not saying that what Solomon had to say is trash?
I think he was even referring to one of her posts she made one time where she was speaking down on Nigerians that stay in the UK, saying that some of them there, they are not excited, or they have this very cold reaction.
When she came up with that thing, I just, see, for everything that babe has something to say, it has never really made sense to me. This is not me saying that she has never made sense. This is just saying that she has never made sense to me. You get it? So, because literally, tell me why you come on social media, and the first thing you're coming to tell me is that when you're outside the country, your fellow Nigerian
Nigerians in the UK are probably poor. I think she used some really derogatory statements.
She said those parts, and she's like, oh, when they see her, they don't greet her. Who are thou? Please, let's leave it for tomorrow, please.
We're going to leave it for tomorrow. So you don't want to miss what we have for you tomorrow. And sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow us on all of our social media platforms. Engage with us and, always be part of what we're doing here. Don't forget to wish Peter a happy birthday on the comment section. I want to see 1,000 happy birthday, Peter, on our comment section. See you tomorrow with another exciting conversation. Bye.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Osayome Sale from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?